So hello fellow banknote and coin collectors, this is Glenn back with some banknotes from Ecuador, and this is the last series that was issued in Ecuador, and I'm in the process of actually getting the whole series, but at the moment I'm only up to 1000. So 1000 is there. I'm missing the 500, the 5, 10 and I think it's 20 and 50,000 as well. That's just from memory, but let's just go over these banknotes and then we will talk about prices and what is the future for banknote collecting in this series. So the currency of Ecuador between 1884 and 2000 was the Sucre. So as you can see down the bottom, it has cinco Sucre, 5 Sucres, and that is actually named after this guy who's actually pictured on it, Antonio Jose de Sucre, and he's one of the liberators of South America from French rule. And well, he's also pictured on the coins as well, but I'll do another video on those. And if you have a look at the design, even though it has color, the design is pretty much based on the banknotes that were issued in the United States. And here I have the $1, and you can see the similarities between the actual designs. So a lot of South American countries actually issued designs like this, and not all of them were printed in the United States. It's a banknote printing company or whatever it's called, but as you can see, this one was printed by Thomas de la Rue in London, and they actually are very versatile because they can actually adapt to many designs, but printers in the United States can only do pretty much this type of design. So ever since they actually issued this Sucre, it's actually pretty much gone down in value for all the time it was actually used. So originally it was 22.5 grams of silver, but then if there is too much silver, the actual value of the currency actually goes down, and that's what happened here. And then they had to revalue it to gold. So in 1898 they actually revalued it to 732.224 milligrams of fine gold, or pretty much the 2 shillings at the time, and it was actually revalued a few times to the gold value, but eventually in 1932 it was actually removed from the gold standard, pretty much because of the Great Depression. It was tied to the American dollar. So at this time all the currencies were tied. There was no free floating, and a lot of the economies are actually poor. So when it's tied to the dollar, it's actually worth 5.95 sucres to $1. So this is pretty much equivalent to $1 at the time. And by 1944, it had been reduced to 13.5. So that would actually cause some inflation. Prices would have over doubled in price apart from inflation, and by 1950 it went down to 15, so that's triple. And 1961 it went down to 18, and 1970 to 25. So this is only worth about, it went from being equal to $1 to 20 US cents, which is pretty bad. And since 1970, that's when inflation actually started to take off, because mismanagement of the economy and probably too much debt that the government and the people actually own. So by the time this was actually replaced with the US dollar, because people had no trust in the Sucre anymore, so they just changed it over to $1, and the exchange rate was 25,000 sucres equals $1. So pretty much by 2000 this was only worth 4 cents, and the other denominations pretty much were not used. So this was only worth pretty much 0.4 of a cent, so not even half a US cent. So that is pretty sad. Let's talk about the banknotes. As you can see, here we have the 5 Sucres. This is a 1988 issue, and in this year they actually replaced it with a coin. So do I have a 5 Sucre coin? Yes, I do. Here we go. Here's the actual coin, 5 Sucres, and the date on the back is 1988. And I actually went as far as to issue 50 Sucres this time. So most of these banknotes were replaced, but that didn't last long, because in the 90s they actually replaced the 100, 500, 1000 Sucres with actual bimetal coins. And those were the last coins that were actually used in Ecuador under the Sucre system. Now they actually do issue coins now, but they're the same shape and weight as the US coins. And as far as I heard, they actually use the US dollar coin a lot more than the banknote. But they don't actually issue any coins over 50 centavos. So that is a pity, because their banknotes are actually quite nice. So first things first, the 5 Sucre to 100 Sucre was pretty much first issued in 1950-1951 period, and these designs actually never changed. So these were actually used for about 50 years, or should I say 40 years really, because of inflation. And they were pretty much the only denominations in circulation for pretty much the 50s, 60s, and much of the 70s. So in 1975 they actually issued a 500, and this one was first issued in 1979. So as I said before, the 5 has Mr. Sucre on the banknote, and on the reverse we just have the coat of arms of Ecuador. As you can see, it has a condor up the top, and it has a ship in a tributary, and then the flags of Ecuador on the sides. So you can see it has dots and also coloured lines, and this was actually a security feature that was used at the time on banknotes. But obviously with our current technology, these actually don't fit as a security feature anymore. And as you can see, there is no watermark, there is no security thread. And then we have the 10 Sucres, and as you can see, he has Sebastian de Beno Caza. I hope I butchered his name quite well, and he'll be proud of me, because I'm very good at butchering names that are not in English. I'm also very good at butchering English names. Awesome, mate. And as you can see, it pretty much looks like a Spanish conquistador. Has the Spanish uniforms that were used during the 1600s, during the Spanish colonization of the Americas. And on the reverse, we also have the coat of arms. But as you can see, the colour is different. This 5 is in red, the 10 is in blue. And that's actually quite nice. And you can see it has no printer's name attached to it, so it could have been printed by anyone. And here we have the 20 Sucres, and as you can see, it has a building on it, and this is the Church of Jesus in Quito. So there's Quito, that's actually the capital of Ecuador. And another thing I didn't say, they also have the date on the side. They also have the series, so this is LM series, and this serial number is up the top. So pretty much they start with the AA series, and they just kept on going along with the series up until they were replaced by the coin. So this one was also replaced by a coin in 1988. On the reverse, in brown, we have pretty much the same. Another security feature is the micro lettering there, and also the pattern that we have there, which is pretty much a standard feature of a banknotes of the time. So here we have another 20, this is 88. So these are actually quite common to actually get, and actually very cheap to get. The next banknote we have is the 50 Sucres, and this is the Monument to Independence in 1820. And as you can see, has a large monument, which is pretty much just a generic type of monument that you can find in any country really. Has probably someone celebrating liberation up the top, and it has inscriptions around the side. I haven't looked that up, so I'm not too familiar with that monument. It has just buildings that were actually standing at the time this was actually made. On the reverse, we have in green. Look green, could be black, but I'm a bit colorblind. Poor me. But the reverse of this design is all pretty generic, as you can see. They're all pretty much standard. And well, I do like this design. It's actually a bit sad that they pretty much made it all the one type of design instead of actually putting some features that were unique to the actual government. And here we have the 100 Bolivars. And the guy in the middle is Simon Bolivar. And here's another liberator, along with San Martin and also Sucre. There were a few others, and they were pretty much generals who actually liberated South America from the Spanish. This one's actually a lot better. As you can see, it has yellows, has a black overprint. It's actually quite a nice banknote. And on the reverse, well, something not unique. In purple, just the coat of arms and the value. And here we have another one, 1994. So this was just before they actually replaced it with a coin in 1995. And on the back, yeah, I think that purple is actually a bit lighter. Yes, they've actually changed the pattern at the back, so this pattern is actually different than that. But the actual way it actually is structured is pretty much the same. Has the coat of arms. Coat of arms looks a bit different as well. Especially looks like the engraving is actually not as refined as the older banknote. So that is because they wanted to reduce costs, because the banknote had actually decreased in value. And here we have the 1000 Sucres. And this guy is Rumim Hahoy. And he was actually an Inca general. As you can see, he has basic structural features of the face of a South American native. And he actually was born in 1500s and he died in 1535. And after the last emperor of the Incas, Atahualpa, died, he actually led the rebellion against the Spanish. So the Incas actually were not going to go down without the fight, because the Spanish were pretty much quite ruthless. And this guy, I would say, is probably executed. Okay. Ruminmawe had ordered the city burned, and the principal ladies of the temple who refused to flee killed. Raminahoy was eventually captured, tortured and killed by the Spanish, but never revealed the location of the Inca treasure. So I'm not too sure if there was actually an Inca treasure. If not, he hid it very well. And this one actually has a watermark with the coat of arms, as you can see. And it has a security thread, which is more of a modern feature that we are pretty much used to in our paper banknotes of today. There's a lot more colour on it. So it's more going towards the European style of banknote with the coloured features. And on the reverse, it's the gay pride colour. Sorry, if you're gay, oh well. But anyway, this coat of arms is actually a lot better because it actually has the colours of the Ecuadorian flag. So red, blue and yellow. And the actual coat of arms is actually coloured. Not too sure if they're the official colours, but anyway, it does make for a change than the other banknotes which actually just have it in one type of colour. So I hope you enjoy these banknotes. I actually quite like them. So pretty much you can actually get all these banknotes probably for $1 or $2 each, because they're pretty much an inflationary currency. Inflationary currencies generally don't increase in value, especially modern inflationary currency. Obviously, the older these actually get, the more value you actually be in uncirculated. Like the German hyperinflation banknotes are pretty expensive in uncirculated. The normal circulated banknotes are pretty much cheap, $1 to $5. Same as Zimbabwe. But these ones are actually printed in quite a lot and high numbers. So these probably will not increase in value for a few hundred years. So if you're going to get them for increase in value, it's just not going to happen. 20 years time, these will still be less than $5 each. That's because inflation would increase the price slowly. But they are a nice set to get. If you're interested in Ecuadorian history, then I suggest you actually get these banknotes. The 50,000 Sucres is actually a bit more expensive, but in uncirculated it should be well within your budget to actually get. So I hope you enjoyed this banknote. I'll leave a link down below to Ecuador Banknotes, which is an affiliate, and I use the money that I get from those sales to actually buy banknotes so I can show you more and we can go through them all. So thank you very much for watching my video and have an awesome banknote collecting time, people. Okay, bye bye.